about his casting.
The Phantom is deeply into sex. This is something that Michael Crawford understood so wonderfully. If you don't get from the Phantom the fact that he is this ambitious, cruel man who was thwarted because he was born ugly and maimed, but he's powerful. And through his music, he knows how to get into that little girl's mind.
I found a certain walk that was cat-like, and the hands would move slowly. So I had my sleeves made shorter so that your hands looked very, very long, so that when you did put your hand in front of Christine and went down the front of her, it was a statement. It was a big statement. And that, I think, again added to the sensuality of it.
The erotic heart of the show occurs when the Phantom abducts Christine down to his lair beneath the Opera House.
He's really, really being powerful with her, and he's desperate because he feels he's not perhaps getting it where he should, and he goes up and he hangs on the grill at the back, and she brushes against him, and I've always felt that he must have got an erection, of course, and that she probably never felt that before in her life.
It was totally sexually charged, the whole thing, from the role of the Phantom to Christine, those two parts. That's really what probably the root of it was about.
His sexuality, he had it through his passion, so the audience had to recognize that. It's no good me coming out there going, hey. I mean, wouldn't work at all. You alone can make my song take flight.
Again, it's still too brutal. Really dig in on all that strange, erotic...
The rehearsals chugged along. Then the company got together for its first run-through. Until now, few had seen Crawford and Sarah at work.
And usually there's a sort of rush for the door to get to the canteen or to the pub, however bad the run-through's been. And nobody moved. Nobody said a word. It was just absolute silence in the room. And it was a stunning feeling. I've never had that before.
The race was now on to get the production ready for its opening, including the 200 costumes that Maria Bjornsson had designed for the show.
It all had a sort of crusty feeling of Victorian opera costumes, which was where the original inspiration for the clothes was. Maria used trim upon trim. Nothing was what it was. It wasn't just this. It was this with some gold lace on top, and then maybe a little frilly edging, which Maria would call critzy critzy. Here's some critzy critzy right here, in fact. And the costume people would stand there watching us in horror because they had to, of course, sew it all on.
35 costume makers worked around the clock, while Sue's hunt for materials took her from bustling braid shops to swanky Savile Row.
Is that the one that Michael Crawford wore himself?
Yes, it was.
And sari shops in the London suburb of Southall.
We started looking at all these lovely motifs. You put that on a lady and then make a sort of corset underneath and bloomers. Yes. And they just look fab. I mean, the labour involved in this. I mean, we could never have possibly have asked costume makers to do all this. It would have taken years. We didn't have that long.
Time, or lack of it, was also worrying the crew installing the show at Her Majesty's Theatre in the West End. But one person wasn't happy about the choice of venue.
He was nervous. He felt a bit jinxed about going into Her Majesty's Theatre because he'd had his only flop in there, Jeeves. He used to pace around saying, "I'm real scared."
The pressure was on, and soon the cracks began to show. Lloyd Webber didn't like the way his cherished score was being played. It was time for another hiring and firing. Enter a new musical director, Michael Reed.
It's quite demanding music. It's not the kind of music you would normally hear in a West End pit. Make me laugh. So you've got this style, but right next to it you have Andrew's inimitable style, and you get the. And all that. There's so many different styles of music. It's almost with that kind of sort of Victorian melodrama, which is so wonderful, and the whole. And as soon as you hear that, you immediately picture. You know it's a phantom.
But for the orchestra, the different styles were very hard to play.
Amongst violinists, everybody knows this solo because it's sort of notoriously difficult. And it starts off like this. And so on. That's not bad. 13 years it is since I played that.
And even the Phantom struggled with his signature tune.
It was so difficult. It was so difficult. Just to take transitions so that you could make sounds that the audience felt were coming from deep inside him, so that you didn't sing slowly, gently. It wasn't going to be like that. It was going to be something that sounded the depths, that came from the depths of his soul.
He is a perfectionist, and a perfectionist is a word he would hate to have to say in his Phantom makeup. He didn't like the letter P very much. He kept trying to get me to change things, taking the letter P out. I think I ended up putting more of them in, just to see what he would do.
Charles Hart had rewritten most of Stilgoe's lyrics by the time rehearsals started.
Charles stepped into the breach, and I think he's done a wonderful job, and I think it's the most exciting discovery I've seen from musical theatre for a long time. Really? So.
But one key song still needed tweaking.
During rehearsals, Sarah sang, "This is where the story finishes, this is where the memories end," and it did sound a little bit like "This is where the memories end." And at the time she was holding a scarf, and it made, so the lyrics were changed. Now I'm not saying that's because it looked like, anything else, but the day after it became "Wishing you were somehow here again, wishing you were somehow near," and it stuck.
But Hart's big triumph was the romantic number "All I Ask of You," the tune that had stumped Richard Stilgoe. Now, with Hart's lyrics, Lloyd Webber spotted another opportunity to plug the show. Another single, sung by Sarah Brightman and an old friend, the Peter Pan of pop.
Daylight dry your tears. I'm here with you, beside you, to guard you and to guide you. The minute I heard "All I Ask," da 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 da, I thought I could almost sing the melody